No EU vacation for Putin's killers. European leaders take a stand. After 12 years of the bloodiest war in Europe since 1945, European leaders demand a ban on Russian war criminals and convicts from entering the Schengen zone. Why now and what does it mean for Ukraine and Europe? This is what we will talk about today. Hello there, I'm Elena, welcome to my channel Enough of Propaganda. And let's talk about Europe and Russians in Europe. Finally, after 12 years of the bloodiest war in Europe since 1945, Europeans are starting to wake up. According to the Moscow Times, in this article, European leaders have called for banning those involved in the invasion of Ukraine from the entering Schengen zone. The leaders of 8 European countries, including German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, called for a ban on entry into Schengen area for Russian citizens who participated in the war against Ukraine. A corresponding letter was sent to European Council President Antonio Costa and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Der Spiegel reports. The initiative proposes that all European Union and Schengen area countries impose entry bans on war veterans, denying them visas and residence permits. The document's authors emphasize that the possible entry of participants in the aggression poses a serious threat to internal security for the European Union. Of particular concern are the more than 180,000 criminals recruited from Russian prisons to serve in the front lines. The letter was signed by the leaders of Germany, Estonia, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania and Sweden. The initiative proposes that all European Union and Schengen area countries impose entry bans on war veterans, denying them visas and residence permits. If you liked my video, please put like, subscribe, write a comment, share my video. Let's make truth available for everyone. Good morning, Europe! How dare you not to allow Russian war criminals and convicts who committed atrocities in Ukraine to enjoy vacations in your countries? They work so hard, bombing Ukrainian citizens, killing and torturing people and destroying infrastructure in winter. What could possibly go wrong if you let them in? Now to be serious. This is Kupiansk, by the way, which is liberated by Ukraine, and now the list of Russians who are still hiding in the city in the old hospital, even those were killed. So it's practically all liberated now completely. Meanwhile, Putin is still lying and not mentioning it now that Kupiansk is Russian, under Russian control. Nothing more lie than that. It's completely controlled by Ukraine. And even the leftovers of the Russian little groups here and there are killed. If there are as many as 10 people somewhere hiding in the basement, that is a possibility, but that's about it. So I don't see Putin showing up in Kupiansk so far. Zelensky showed up. He showed that it's Ukrainian, but liberated by Ukraine. But what? Putin have wet pants, and so is his Gerasimov. None of them dare to show up in Kupiansk, which, according to them, is under Russian control. Kupiansk is fully controlled by Ukraine. But look what Russians did. And this is just one of Ukrainian cities. And I know people whose friends live in Kupiansk. Or Kupiansk. So, look at this. I visited Europe in the last months of 2025 and spent there about 3 months. And I was surprised to meet Russians in France. This article, by the way, from Kiev Independent, that European officials warn Russian veterans could play a role in Moscow's shadow war. Gee, who could possibly guess this can happen? Apparently I could. This is my video, evidence that Russia attacked NATO. It was 2 years ago I posted it. And they attacked it since like 2011, 2016 and so on. It's a proven facts by investigations, for example, Christo Groziev and so on. So you're welcome to watch this video. It's still very much actual and important today. 1 week have been in France, in, for example, Dordogne region. Right here. So in Sarlat, when we lived in the hotel, I met 4 people from Moscow. They seemed nice and capable of some critical thinking, but what were they doing in France? How could they possibly afford it? We were not staying in fancy hotel, but even 70-90 euros per night is a huge amount of money for many Russians. I heard Russian speakers at the top of the Palace of Pops in Avignon. This is incredible. Also on the northern coast of France, and even at Chateau de Fontainebleau. Almost everywhere I heard Russian language, which not necessarily mean they were Russians. Some Ukrainians speak Russian, for example, or maybe Russians who live in France. But the people who I met at Sarlat, they were from Moscow right now. I agree with Estonian Interior Minister Igor Taro. He stated, you can't kill people today and then go on holidays to civilized Europe tomorrow. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments. So far, I don't have any more news on that matter. The European summit was supposed to be and have been on March 19th. And I don't see the ban on all the Russian, at least they call so-called war veterans. Where is it? Is Europe still sleeping? Well, I am not pleased to see that so far. Who isn't sleeping is Donald Trump. He seems to be enjoying himself in his war in Iran, which he started. So I hope people who elected him are proud of their Putin's orange puppet, who is removing sanctions on Russia and Iran, denying from Ukraine help from Ukraine with the drones, defend American troops with drones, and seems to be feeling very well, and allowing Russian tanker just now from Russia going to Cuba, which apparently under sanctions from the United States, and Trump said, oh no, nobody should go, and now, oh, it's okay, if Russia is going there, that's fine, no problem whatsoever. So, at least he isn't sleeping, he's dancing with a sword. Meanwhile, Europe is still gorgeous and spectacular. I really enjoyed being there. Learn the truth, stay informed, and defend your democracy. Thank you for watching. See you later.